Good evening. You're now with me, Razi Ahmad, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. The Sarawak government is now enforcing mandatory seatbelt usage for all drivers and passengers of express and tour buses. Meanwhile, reforms to the teacher recruitment system have successfully addressed the teacher shortage in the country. In world news, 4 people perish and 30 go missing as a passenger ferry sinks en route to the resort island of Bali. The Sarawak government is enforcing mandatory seatbelt usage for all drivers and passengers of express and tour buses effective July 1st. Sarawak Transport Minister Dato Sri Lee Kim Shin said that a 300 ringgit compound will be issued to anyone who fails to comply with this new regulation. However, the enforcement does not currently apply to city buses operating at low speeds.
Pihak JPJ Sarawak tidak akan berkompromi dengan mana-mana pesalah jalan raya yang melakukan kesalahan dan mengabaikan keselamatan diri sendiri dan juga pengguna jalan raya yang lain.
He explained that this regulation applies to all buses manufactured after January 1st, 2020, provided they are equipped with passenger seatbelts. Of the 264 express buses currently operating in Sarawak, only 40 new units are fitted with seatbelts, while the remaining 224 older buses are not.
Jadi bus yang bus itu yang itu manufacturing date iaitu 1 hari bulan Januari 2020, bus baru itu semua ada itu tali pinggang geledah. Yang lama itu bus itu yang dikeluar sebelum 1 hari bulan Januari 2020 memang mereka tak ada dipasang dengan tali pinggang geledah. Jadi untuk bas itu JPJ semasa mengadakan taklimat sudah beritahu mereka diberi masa untuk memasang tali pinggang geledah.
Regular monitoring will be carried out on major roads, including the Pan-Borneo Highway, which has seen an increase in vehicle traffic. In addition, all buses are advised to display seatbelt instruction stickers in Malay, Chinese, and English, and to provide audio announcements or visual displays prior to departure. Deputy Sarawak Premier Dato' Amar Dr. Sim Kui Hian stressed that Chinese education in Sarawak is not just limited to the Chinese community, but is instead open to all races as part of efforts to build a state that is centered on merit and equality. According to him, the presence of 40% Bumiputra students at the Kaiming National School reflects the state's inclusive education policy in line with the Sarawak Premier's vision.
Premier Abanjo always emphasized that Chinese education is for all races, and that's why you got 40% Bumi. And all this education is basically what Premier Abanjo said is Sarawak nation building. Because Sarawak nation building, you need talents. So if you don't have good primary education, how can you go to university? How can you go to technical schools? And so I want to thank the school board, and especially the Chinese school board, because out of 7 million, they raised more than 5 million by themselves. And this is how the Chinese school spirit of emphasis on education and for all races and as part of Sarawak nation building.
During a special grant handover ceremony in SJK Kaimeng earlier today, Dr. Sim also praised the strong community spirit behind the success of such an educational project, calling it a shining example of how investing in knowledge and skills can drive Sarawak's development. The school relocated from Bintangor to Bintulu and now has over 400 students from diverse backgrounds, made possible through a reconstruction project worth over 7 million ringgit, largely funded by the local community.
Sarawak has emerged as one of the leading states in the formulation of policies and legislation relating to sustainability in Southeast Asia. This was highlighted by Sarawak Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Datuk Dr. Hazlan Abang Hipni, in his keynote address at the Arbitrating Sustainability in Southeast Asia Forum held in conjunction with Kuala Lumpur ADR Week 2025. The regional-level forum gathered arbitration experts and government representatives from ASEAN countries, including the Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore, to strengthen cross-border cooperation on sustainable development and environmental, social, and governance (ESG) issues. Hazlan also emphasized that legal certainty and clear dispute resolution frameworks are crucial to attracting greater green investment into the region. He added that transparency and legal innovation must be encouraged, both in terms of substantive law and dispute resolution processes, to create a more competitive investment environment. Sarawak is expected to continue playing a key role in shaping the future direction of regional sustainability policies, in line with the state's ongoing commitment to sustainable development and progressive governance. A man was killed in a tragic incident after being struck by a vehicle on the shoulder of the Pan-Borneo Highway near Bukit Song earlier this afternoon. The victim had reportedly lost control of his Isuzu D-Max and stopped at the roadside following a self-inflicted accident before being struck in the fatal incident around 2:45 p.m.
Miri District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner of Police Muhammad Farhan Lee Abdullah confirmed that the victim was waiting for help from a colleague when he was suddenly hit by another four-wheel drive vehicle at the scene. Preliminary investigations suggest the vehicle had lost control before veering off the road and crashing into the victim. He was pronounced dead at the scene due to serious injuries. The case is being investigated under Section 41 in Bracket 1 of the 1987 Road Transport Act. The police are calling on witnesses with information to come forward or report to the nearest police station.
Reforms to the teacher recruitment system implemented by the Education Ministry in collaboration with the Education Services Commission, or SPP, have successfully addressed the teacher shortage in the country. Education Minister Fadlina Sidek said the reforms not only increased the number of teachers, but also enhanced the quality and suitability of those assigned to schools.
Dapat kita atasi dengan berbagai mekanisme, khususnya memastikan bahawa guru-guru yang kita handal juga adalah guru-guru yang berkualiti dan khususnya dapat memenuhi keperluan anak-anak didik kita. Jadi isu program guru ini, alhamdulillah, dengan tarakan sinergi kita, SPP telah berjaya kita atasi dan insya-Allah akan terus kita baik dari semasa ke semasa.
Speaking at the 15th Convocation of Institutes of Teachers Education IPG today, Fadlina also said the future of Malaysian education 2026 to 2036 plan will involve the introduction of a curriculum that focuses more on values-based education, character building, and the development of student personality. She stressed that the new curriculum would require active participation from both new and existing teachers, especially IPG graduates, to take on a more holistic role as mentors in shaping students' characters.
A tragic marine incident unfolded off the coast of Indonesia last night as a passenger ferry sank en route to the resort island of Bali. 4 people have been confirmed dead, while rescue teams are still searching for at least 30 others who remain missing. According to the National Search and Rescue Agency, the ferry was carrying 65 passengers and crew members when it capsized in rough seas shortly before midnight on Wednesday. 31 people have been rescued so far, while strong currents and 2.5-meter high waves hampered early search efforts.
Dari penemuan korban yang selamat, mereka ada yang memang menggunakan skotci ya, yang awal ketemu itu menggunakan skotci, kondisi selamat. Kemudian ada yang tergambar di pantai dan kondisi selamat, dan mereka memang menggunakan life jacket.
A rescue team of 54 personnel, including Navy and police, has been deployed with inflatable boats and a larger vessel from Surabaya. Officials have attributed the cause of the sinking to bad weather. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, urged the United Nations to reassume its position as the organization that channels aid to Palestinians. This is due to increasing deaths and injuries at various distribution centers operated by the U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF.
On X, UNRWA stated that the people of Gaza are desperate and in dire need of humanitarian aid, especially food to survive famine induced by the Zionist regime. It also urged probe into various incidences of killings and shootings that had happened when Palestinians were trying to gather aid that was channeled by the US and Israel. Prior, the UN had operated all 400 distribution centers located in Gaza. Unfortunately, only 4 centers are left operating now, located in the so-called mega sites, 3 in the south and 1 more in central Gaza, unarmed by any form of security. Sean Combs, or more known to the world as the producer/rapper P. Diddy, was found guilty and not guilty on 5 of the charges he faced during his high-profile trial that lasted for 7 weeks. The panel of juries did not come to a unanimous verdict, and as announced, Combs is sentenced to 20 years prison time on 2 counts of charges. He was cleared from the major charges, including racketeer influence and corrupt organizations RICO, and 2 sex trafficking charges submitted by Cassie Ventura, an artist signed under his record label Bad Boy Records, who then became his lover for 11 years, and a witness only known as Jane, whose anonymity was granted by the judge. The 2 counts Combs was found guilty of are the Mann Act transportation, a federal law criminating an individual to transport across state lines for illegal sexual activity, both submitted by Cassie and Jane. Though his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, immediately asked for his client to be released from federal detention until his sentencing hearing and suggested a $1 million bail, a judge denied the request. Even so, Mark and his team hailed the day as a win after partial acquittal, stating strongly that today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and their legal team.
Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and our legal team. So a lot of these things are still in process. I mean, the one thing I'm going to leave you with this: we are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started, and we're going to win, and we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison a free man to his family.
Meanwhile, Cassie's lawyer, Doug Wigdor, said that the defense is pleased with the verdict because Combs is facing something that he's never faced in his life, with substantial jail time.
We're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand that beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard, and we're just pleased that he still faces substantial jail time.
The public has also reacted to the verdict, where undoubtedly many were upset with the outcome of the trial, including a regular attendee of the trial, TikTok content creator Marvin Vibes.
Testimonies of the victims and everything else that's been going on, you get triggered by it. And a lot of my followers as well have been triggered. I have a lot of followers that are wonderful, that have started following me on TikTok, and they've opened up to me and talked about things that happened to them, and how this case resonates with them as well, how it affects them, how it makes them exhausted, how it makes them sad. It's going to make these feelings come out. It's difficult. It's very difficult to deal with it. Do I feel that justice was served? No, not at all.
Another regular attendee, Melvin Key, told press that the case has been equally divided along the way, not only within the courtroom, but also among supporters and non-supporters.
So I think because this has been evenly divided all along the way. Supporters, non-supporters, it's been evenly divided. But listening to the information, I thought that the state or the government has met their elements of the crimes on each one of the charges. So I thought that he was going to be found guilty of all 5 charges.
And that wraps it up for TVS Nightline. I am Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.